Hello, Augies worldwide. I'd like to tell you about my new antenna. I call it the Hex Tangle. It's actually an MFJ-1846 Hex Beam, and this is what I discovered this morning. As it turned out, we had a pretty snowy evening, and we had quite a bit of wet, heavy snow on the trees outside. But it appears that we had a bit of an ice storm too. This over here is the MFJ receive-only antenna, and this, of course, is the MFJ Hex Beam. And you can see that there's a lot of snow around all the different wires and everything. These right here are the ropes that are supposed to keep the edges of the antenna up and so on. So I looked at this and went, oh no, but maybe there's a lot of spring in these, they all come out of this hub right in here. All of these have got a lot of spring in them, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Well, a couple hours later, it looked like this. The snow had melted off and it had gone back to its normal shape. I think and none of the wires appear to be broken. Now there are a couple issues with it that I noticed upon closer inspection. One, this rope from the top here ended up looped around this element, which comes down to here. This is a 20-meter element, and this is where it's fed, right here. Okay, so this got pulled up short. Each of these little spots like this where there's a wire is just a little hole in a small plastic keeper so that the wires can slide freely back and forth in there. The other thing I noticed is that one of these, which ends, it goes over here and loops around that, and there's the end of it right there, is actually the rope that is supposed to hold up one of the spreaders out over here. So what has happened is that has slipped out. This has slipped out before in the wind. So the antenna is on a tilt-up mast. So I'll get some help. It takes about 3 people to do this. We'll tilt it over, put this back together, and then hopefully I will have an antenna as good as new. Now everything seems okay, except of course this is a 20-meter element here that is slightly too short right there, and it ends, it goes over there and ends there. This is a little insulator, and then that starts the reflector right there. It's a little out of shape, and then if you notice down here, the very smallest element is the 6-meter element, and it is quite loose on there. So we'll have to take a look when we pull the thing down at that one. But overall, look, this thing went from a hex tangle to a hex beam. So I thought, well, you know, I better check it out. This is where you can get it on the MFJ page. It's not inexpensive, but remember, it is a beam. It is the equivalent of a 2-element beam on 6 bands. And I've done a previous review on this, and it's an outstanding antenna. I really like this antenna. This is one of my permanent antennas that I use all the time and use for comparison with other antennas. Now, I thought it wise, maybe we ought to check it out. So I went on all the bands here. Here's 20 meters. Notice that we've got a little problem over in this region. The bottom appears to be here. It should be over here somewhere. I've had a little of this before, but I think it's because that element got stretched out of place. 17 meters looks fine. 15 meters looks fine. 12 meters looks fine. In the band, it's about 1.6 to 1.4, which is fine. It looks like it could be lengthened a little bit to move the low spot that way, but this is not an adjustable antenna. 10 meters is a little bit loopy here, but the part of 10 meters that you normally use is from 2800 to about 2900. This part over here is FM and things like that. You may want to do it. It's under 3 to 1. The tuner in your radio will handle it. 6 meters does look a little bit fluey. It's 3 to 1 over here. And then from here on, it's 2 to 1. The rest of the band, most of the activity actually takes place right in here. So the tuner in the radio should take care of that okay. So that's my experience with the Hex Tangle. And it turned itself back into a hex beam. I'm very pleased with it. Be sure to check out dcasler.com/support. That gets you this page right here, which shows different ways that you can support this channel. There's a one-time tip jar, a monthly subscription, Patreon. There's some Amazon objects there. If you buy one using a link here, I get a little bit of a finder's fee and you don't pay any extra. And I've also got the technician and amateur extra videos on thumb drives, and soon I will fill this space with the general when I get those done. Now, news coming soon. YouTube channel memberships. My channel has been cleared for YouTube channel memberships. I just need to set that up, and that'll be a new feature that you can use. So, great talking to you today. I am delighted that my Hex Tangle reverted to a hex beam. Nothing's actually broken. I just have to lean it down and put that one spreader in place, and we'll be back in good shape until we next meet 73.